most companies begin with the why. Yes, some companies are built to make money, but most small businesses start with a reasoning, of why. Some out of because you have to make money for your child, kind of in Dana's point. And I just had this conversation the other night with another class where there's one individual where she's actually on. I don't know if I did it. I don't think it was this class where she started a cannabis children's company. And because her daughter had she had like her daughter had 4 brain surgeries and she's like 8 years old or something like that. And she found that she got the kind of like the world's leading doctors in CBD or cannabis oil or whatever you want to call it. And she found that it was killing the cancer cells in her daughter. And she had a Netflix special and all these other things, and she's gotten funding from millions of dollars of funding from people and things like that. And she has all this research from these people around the world. And she actually got approval from the Trump administration. I think that they're going through another round of children's chemotherapy for use like for cannabis oil and things like that. And she's going to the Biden administration. So she started a company out of necessity to save her daughter's life. Literally. So you know yes companies like like Tesla will come up out of a brilliant idea, but there's a lot of companies that's going to come out of someone's life, someone's story. you know so I mean, my the companies that I'm working with, I'm doing social impact companies because I want my daughter to learn to grow up, giving, right? Where she's going to be surrounded around that, right? I've not always been that way. Like I told you before, I was chasing dollar for a good 10 years of my life, just trying to make as much money as possible. I'll be completely honest with you. That's what I did for the first 10 years of my life, making the most money I could possibly make, right? But now you grow older, you grow wiser, and you say it's not all about that. I was on the road. I was on the road 40, 45 weeks out the year, and going home to wash clothes and mow the lawn. Right? It was terrible. But the thing was, I grew a lot. I gained a lot of experience in those years. And I'm sharing that experience with you. All right. So that's just one thing to think about. Again, I always try to drop some life lessons on you because that's one thing I didn't get whenever I was in undergrad. I didn't get that when I was in grad school. You just think that you can kind of regurgitate what you learn in a book, and that's not the real world. It doesn't work that way. So that's just my thoughts. But anyway, so I actually have been so I was working on the celebration of scholarship proposal. There was an award. Give me a second. You've seen it here first. You did not see this from me. All right, give me a second. You've seen it here first because I just made modifications to it. So celebration of scholarship. I know some of you are not at the Wilkes-Barre campus, but to be fair to everyone, everybody has to do it. All right. This is your assignment. This is replacing your exam. Okay. That's how I get buy-in. This is replacing your exam. Now, did you all think about, I know that I know Matt said he wants to work on his own. Did you all make the decision on what you wanted to do, if you want to do a group assignment or individual assignment? It doesn't matter. So I know I put people in groups, but Matt wants to mess it up for everybody.
Sorry.
What do you think, Rachel? I know you asked about it earlier.
I'm fine either way. I don't really
Okay.
mind.
Uh, Noah, you're kind of Noah. I think that you have your group, right, Noah? Because you're not at the Wilkes-Barre campus.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, Nikki, you're at Wilkes-Barre. What are you thinking? You want to do individual or group?
Either one is fine.
Okay. Does anybody prefer either way? I mean, I'll leave it.
I kind of want to do group because I also have to do this for 2 other classes.
Really?
And yeah, so I feel like it'll be easier to do it with the group, and because the other 2 have to do individually.
Okay.
And I saw it's like due Friday, like you need to put in your topics.
Yeah, that's
for
why
Friday.
I'm trying to fill this out right now. So we ain't got to worry about it. That's why we're having this conversation. So
Yeah, I don't mind group.
all right. So yeah, this is due Friday. I'm gonna extend it because I didn't actually do this for my supply chain class. I'm actually on the committee for the Wilkes-Barre campus, so I can extend it to next week. But so if you go to the sites.psu.edu /WB scholarship, you'll be taken to this screen. Like I said, we're gonna knock this out right now. And then while you all are doing that, so this is one of the awards. So for one of the awards, we are going to create essentially a diversity and inclusion. Not really a diversity and inclusion. It's more for social justice. You know, so if you do research on social justice, if you do research on environmental justice, there's a lot of information on environmental justice within the Sustainability Institute at Penn State, because I'm a part of that. So let's see here. So .edu, there should be an environmental justice section. So if you type in environmental justice, I think this whole section, it's like I said, it's a whole area. So if you type in environmental justice in a search, once you go into sustainability.psu.edu, then you'll be able, oh man. Can you hear me? All right, because my Zoom froze. Give me a second. I might get dropped because my Zoom froze. There we go. All right, there's two Justins going on here. This is weird. Oh man. All right, that one stopped. That was very strange. This computer's gonna crash any day now. All right, so again, sustainability.psu.edu. If you do a search for environmental justice, then you're going to get an option here on the right-hand side that says visit environmental justice website. And then you'll get a lot of information on environmental justice for information that Penn State has created. Okay, there's some good stuff in there. So you can check that out and get some ideas for an environmental justice perspective. I know another excellent resource, go on YouTube, type in environmental justice. You can get a lot of information on environmental justice on YouTube. And environmental justice is just one example. You don't have to do environmental justice. You actually don't even have to do this topic. I'm just saying this is there's some money for this topic. So I'm not going to be judging this because we're actually developing the actual criteria for it. So to remove that bias, and because you're going to be my students, I'm not going to be judging this, but I want my people to win, right? Don't embarrass me now. So anything for social justice, environmental justice, gender equality. You can even do something like shared leadership. All right. But that's one category that you can enter into. Another category that I'm also doing an award for is for anything related to sustainability. Anything for sustainability. You have so for example, man, I'm freezing up. This is crazy. All right, give me a second. So give me a second. I froze up again. All right. I closed out a few programs, so hopefully that works. Doubt it, but I hope it works. All right. So if you Google UN SDGs, UN Sustainable Development Goals, I'm pretty sure you've seen these little icons in some of your classes and some of your syllabi, because that's one thing that we're trying to push across the campus. And so if you type in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, there's 17 of them. And I always tell people that, there's going to be at least one of these goals that are important to you, right? So if you address anything from a sustainability perspective, or if you blend all of these, and you explain why they're important to you in a poster presentation, that would be impactful as well. Now, another example, I think I provide you with this example as well. I think I did it in Rachel's class last semester, where if you look at these 17 SDGs and you pick your top 2, like you could outline. So in this poster presentation, I'm actually giving you a presentation right now. You can outline the 17 SDGs, right? And then you can pick out, okay, from my morals, from my priorities, based on what I want to do to positively impact the world, these are my top 2, right? And then you outline the top 2, and then in your presentation you explain why. It's that simple for a poster presentation. Now that's a celebration of scholarship, because you have to understand all 17 SDGs, and now you have to justify why these 2 are important to you. And then you also have to say, okay, what's the call to action? Because these 2 are important to me, my call to action is this. Your call to action is this. All right. So that's another category. So you can do a social justice category. You can do a category that's in relation to sustainability and sustainable development goals, or you can pretty much do what you want. Because I know that I think there's 2 more awards out there. I had to double check. Okay, I think the library's doing an award, and I think that there's like a general like best poster award or something like that, right? So there's like 4 or 5 awards for the campus. Those are just two that I have that I'm connected with, and I know the specifics on those. All right. So those are 2 of the awards that you could work on. So again, if you go to sites.psu /WB scholarship, review all of the guidelines. But what we need to do today, today's assignment is you have to go here to it says COS intent to participate form. If you're at the Wilkes-Barre campus, all right, I will have to say that. So COS intent to participate form. Again, you have to make a determination of whether or not you're going to do a group or individual. Okay. So once you go in here, put your name in. This is an assignment, so you're gonna have to give me some kind of confirmation or something to make sure you did it. Well, you have to do your post presentation. You don't do a presentation, you get a 0. And that's simple. All right, so I'm only gonna tell you once. So you go to COS intent to participate form, put in your first and last name, ID, email address, team member. So again, you have to figure out whether you want to do it with a team or individual. And then you say it's for strategic business planning. And then you go on here and you put my name in. That simple, and you're done.
How many members per group?
You're at the Wilkes-Barre campus, right?
Yeah.
3
Okay.
max. Rachel, you doing by yourself?
I don't care either way.
All right. Yeah, 2 to 3 max, preferably 2, 3 max.
Okay.
All right. I'll just say that you're gonna have to split the award if y'all win. Just throwing it out there.
That's fair game.
Just throwing that one out there. But yeah, so yeah, please do that. Please do that. Please speak between each other. The initial. So yeah, so if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to let's see here. Reach out to Cameron if you have any specific questions, but if you have any questions, just email me. I can reach out to all these people. All right. So yeah, do it by the 26th. I'm gonna try to get it extended because, like I said, I did not post this to my SEM class. So please get it in with the next couple days. All right. Thank you for that. I did miss that one. That was a epic fail on my end. So I was too focused on getting the award out, and not even we're not even gonna have anybody to participate in the award if I don't announce it. All right. So let's see here. Strategic business planning. All right, we'll start on the discussion. Well, we're not that far. Let's see here. So we already talked about strategy. We already talked about the business strategy in a way, right? Yeah, we already talked about the strategy. I don't like that. Well, this is more detail. Okay. So this is going to be a marketing strategy for an organization. What is going on here? Any thoughts on that?
I don't know about everybody else, but you kind of like cut out while you were talking. I'm not exactly sure what the question was.
I said, based on what we discussed in the first week, what is an organization's marketing strategy? What would an organization's marketing strategy look like?
First, they would start off with figuring out the specific industry that they're in, competitors within that industry as well, and then figuring out who their main customer would be, whether they're going to like target 20-year-old men, females, whatever. Once you have your customer, you can kind of move through and figure out what social media platforms or what other platforms for marketing would be best. But it really depends on that customer. So once you have that solid customer profile, you can move forward with the marketing plan, with the social media, figuring out what posts are going to work best.
Excellent. Dang, that was a very well articulated answer, I must say. Anyone else have anything? All right. So as Rachel explained, you want to identify who your target market is, the demographics of that particular target market, age, gender, geographical location. That's very important. All of those, let me back up. All of those things are very important, right? But you also, one thing a lot of people tend to ignore when you talk about a strategy is identifying your competition, right? What does your competition look like? That's one of the first things I do. What does my competition look like? What differentiates them? What makes them money? That's the question you need to ask. What makes my competition money? What's the secret sauce? Right? They're successful for a reason. They're in a space for a reason, and how can you essentially develop something better than a competition, right? From a marketing perspective. And that's one thing that I'm actually kind of looking. That's one thing. So just because of this class and just because of you all, I kind of view everything from a marketing perspective when I go on social media, when I go on a Clubhouse, to say, what can I bring to this marketing class next week? What can I bring to this marketing class on Wednesday? Right. But the name of the game is social media right now. I mean, there's no denying it. Like I said on Monday, if you're not on social media, you don't exist as an organization. And I am far from a social media expert. I can't even get notifications on my Instagram.
He's struggling today.
We need to tell him to get new internet.
Hey, Noah, you're not at the Wilkes-Barre campus, are you?
No, I'm at
Do you want to partner up for this project?
Sure. Do you want an email?
Sure. Let me grab a pencil.
Okay.
That just sounded so old. All right. Hit me with the email.
njn5192@psu.edu.
And it's N as in Nacho, J as in John, M as in
No, N again.
N. N is, so there's two nachos.
Nachos.
Okay, cool. 5192.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is an absolute nightmare. Oh man, sorry about that. So I'm not touching this thing. I'm gonna hit this. I'm not touching anything else. All right. So yeah. So based on the services that I provide, the knowledge that I provide, Twitter does not provide value to me, right? But it's going to provide value to your organizations, maybe, right? I can get more people to reach out to me on Instagram because they see the value. And I really don't even put it in, I really don't put content on Instagram. But whenever I go on a Clubhouse, for example, and I speak in these rooms, that's when people reach out to me. My Instagram page is just to validate that I'm a real person. That's what my Instagram page is for. Right. And people come to me and say, well, you need to drop some snippets. You need to drop some knowledge on Instagram. All right, I'll think about it. I need to, but I'm just so busy, you know. She's like, oh, you'll get more followers. Well, I'm not an entertainer. If you hear me on Clubhouse, that's gonna be more than a little 30-second clip to inspire. Right? Yeah, I can do that. I need to do that, but I don't have time to. If you want to hear me, come in the Clubhouse. Right? You know, so and the thing is, so see, my mindset is different in that some people view other people in those rooms as competition. You know, like business coaching and leadership coaching and social media coaching and things like that. That's their competition in the same exact room they're in, on the same exact stage they're in Clubhouse. Right? But me, we're all sharing knowledge. Yeah, I have to pay the bills too, but I have a job at Penn State. I'm not worried about it. Some of those people, that's their living. That's how they make a living, of getting people on that platform and having them hire them as a consultant. That's how you pay their bills, you know. So and I also think that I've also seen where like organizations. So this is a marketing thing for you all. I've seen where organizations have taken leaders of their companies, like the CEO, the CIO, and things like that, and they've created a particular room, and they'll say presented by whoever, presented by Noah's Assisted Living, a particular topic that people are interested in. So you're going to bring people in that room. There might be 200 people in that room. If I can get one person out of those 200 to send their father or mother to my nursing home, I did a pretty good job. For an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, at the most. Pretty good marketing, you know. So that's in my opinion, that's the future of social media. That's the future of social. I know I keep drilling it, but the thing is, I'm seeing it in real time. This is not stuff from a book. This is not theory. I'm in these rooms. I'm seeing what's happening. Right? So that's another thing to consider, do some more research on. Like I said, you can get, I mean, I think many of your friends probably have invites where you can just go in, like I said, just go in those rooms, just sit and listen. Just sit and listen. Because those people that are on those stages, those are the people that's going to be hiring you all. Those are the hiring managers. Those are the CEOs of these companies. Right? So, like I said, Jamie, Dana's ex-husband, he's in the rooms all the time. He just sits there and listens. He doesn't say anything. He just sits and listens. That's how he reached out to me. You know. So again, that's one thing that's very important. And also you can, like I said, you can sit and listen in your competitors' rooms, for example. And this is the same thing, even outside of Clubhouse. You can sit because of the current situation we're in. A lot of organizations are offering like free webinars, and you can go in your competitors' webinars and see what they're talking about. It's their marketing, so they're going to tell people everything. They're going to tell people everything. So that's another competitive advantage. You hop in every single webinar that your competitors are putting on, and you just listen to what they're doing. Right? They're giving you their playbook. Capitalize on it. So with that, yes, competition is identifying your competition is very important. I know that I've said multiple times that, we're moving to a sharing economy. I still believe in that, but I played sports, so I still have a competitive nature, right? And there's some people in the industry where I don't agree with their views. So I'm going to compete, right? And I'm going to dominate, So if you understand the scope of your competition, like I said, it's going to be either going to be broad or narrow. So it's going to be broad or it's going to be niche. So, and so I'm thinking, Rachel, you say you're like like your firm is like general marketing, right? You deal with all types of industries, correct?
Yeah, we deal with like we have a big customer base that it's crazy like how different some of them are.
Yeah. So Rachel's organization is very broad, in scope. They'll handle anybody. Where if I had a marketing firm, which I will never have a marketing firm, but if I had a marketing firm, I would be focused on supply chain companies, manufacturing companies, or AI companies, or blockchain companies, because that's what I know, right? I think that I can provide the greatest value in those spaces. I would never, ever, 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 ever do marketing for an assisted living home. I know nothing about it. So what value can I bring? Right. So that's one consideration. That's one consideration that you have to have whenever you're looking at the scope of your competition. Of yes, Rachel's company does a broad range. Do I want to compete with that? Probably not, because I don't have the people that has that expertise. Rachel's company probably has the expertise in every single one of those industries. That's why they're successful, right? With me, no, I want to stay in my lane, right? I want to stay in my lane of business. I want to stay in my lane of technology. I want to stay in my lane of sustainability. That's what I know. That's what I'm good at, right? And as we become more successful, then we might branch out, maybe. But I am still, my mindset is I'm still not going to get to the point where I'm going to provide marketing for every single industry. That's not me. Right. So that's where you have to understand the scope of your competition. It's kind of like, well, Canva's a terrible example. I was about to say Canva's a terrible example, but it's like, okay, what do you want what is your vision going to be for your organization? Do you want to be broad in nature, or do you want to be narrow and niche? Right. So that's one thing where if you do want to be narrow, then you need to focus on a competition that's narrow. Right. You can't look at Rachel's organization because it's apples and oranges. Some of the things may be transferable, or others, because it's so broad, may not be. So I would say that you have to kind of look at the industry. You have to look at the industry as a whole, and then kind of pare it down to where your area is. Does that make sense? I backtracked a little bit on my statement. All right. So also you want to be the best of breed. We hear the term best of breed. We hear the term best in class from a general business perspective, but you want to also have that focus from a marketing perspective. What that is that, okay, what sets me apart? What's the secret sauce on my IG page for my industry? What's the secret sauce from a Facebook perspective? What's the secret sauce from a TikTok perspective, from an organization? See, that's another thing where you have to think about. And I know we're all talking about social media, but all right, let me ask you a question. So without social media, what other outlets would you be marketing in, you think?
Google.
Google?
Yeah, like to be higher up the list on the search engines.
Oh, Google Ads. Oh, so SEO?
Right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, what else?
Billboards and TV commercials.
How much value do you think that TV commercials and billboards provide with no one watching TV now? My wife, we got rid. My wife is paying $60 for Hulu every single month just to get rid of commercials. The commercials are gone. You know, even people don't listen to radio anymore. They just listen to podcasts. If they want to listen to the radio, they go on YouTube and listen to that specific episode they want to listen to. Advertising is like that's what I'm saying. Like the old conventional means of advertising is gone. You know, the billboards you see on the highways, gone. Like I'm down. We got a place in Ocean City, and like there's just trucks just driving around. Like they have this big, massive television on the back of it on the bed, and they just run through advertisements. They're just driving on the strip. You have these planes with huge advertisements driving across on the beach, back and forth, flying on the beach, back and forth. This advertising game has changed, right? You know, so and I always say this is my mindset when I was in the industry. Okay, we're in this age now. What's next? What's next? What's next? And like I said, and at this in the current state, what's next is like I said, this is just my views. Again, I've seen it. Is to have your organizations to hold these clubhouse rooms and get huge followings and have these clubhouse rooms and demonstrate the value. That's your company's pitches. You're doing a pitch to the same exact pitch you would provide to a company to get their business. You're doing it to 500 people, 1,000 people at one time. What you would otherwise be doing, traveling around the country, doing to each individual company. Now you have all your clients in one room, giving the same exact pitch. That's where we're going. Right? So again, that's your differentiator, in my opinion. So if you want to look at low cost, using that platform, it's free. It's free. Free's for me. You know, how much do you all, I already asked you this, Rachel, but does anyone else know how much your companies pay for Google ads and Facebook ads and things like that, IG ads?
I know our Google ads are over $100 a month.
Yeah, that's low.
We're a small company. We don't need a lot.
Yeah. What about you, Rachel?
For like our company ourselves, we don't really do a lot of advertising for our own company. Like word of mouth from our clients spreads so much that we just get people coming in like based off of people that they know. We just got another client that wants us to come out to like Ohio. They're from California and they're starting a business in Ohio and they want us to come out there and do work for them. So like that word of mouth for us is like, it's really good.
Right.
So
yeah. That comes down to trust, right?
Yep.
The most important thing in business is trust, you know? So yeah. So who, and the thing is, the way to get more of that business, you ask them who told them about your organization. Then you get that company a discount. Then once you give them a discount, they're going to tell more people. Right? You know, so, but like, I know that I was doing research. I was doing research, and like these people that you see come up on your Instagrams and your YouTubes when you're watching the videos, like, man, this guy's everywhere. What is going on here? Those guys spend like 10 grand a week on advertising. Right? But because they're everywhere, they're making like 30, 40 grand a week. On these like classes and things like that, right? You know, they're making big money, but they're also spending big marketing money. So whenever they tell you that, they're spending more. In my opinion, they're spending more than what they're telling you. So if they're telling you they're spending 10 grand a week, they're spending more than that. But that's working for them, because they started out. There was one of them, I forgot who it was. I forgot which one it was, but they were saying, yeah, just start out with Facebook ads. Just do $100 a week, and if you're getting the reach for $100 a week, take it to $200 a week. If you're getting more reach, do $500 a week, and then up until you get your sweet spot, until you, and when you get your ROI, So, Matt, do you do anything on marketing?
Similar to Rachel, I don't really need to advertise. More word of mouth gets me all of my clients. So, however, in my early days, I looked into advertising, and I believe Google wanted like $250 just for a month, and Facebook just for one ad for a week. They were a lot cheaper. They only wanted like $25, but the exposure was a lot less. So
Yeah,
it's all different.
yeah. Excellent. What about you, Brittany or Nikki?
I don't do the advertising for my company, but most of ours comes from word of mouth. The law firm's just been around for so long.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't really have anything to do with marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that's very interesting as well. Again, and that's another thing. It depends on your business. It depends on how far you want your reach to be. Law firm, yeah, you probably can't go national, right? Assisted living homes, yeah, it probably can't go national. But marketing firms like Rachel's firm, she just showed you where they're going outside of their geographical region, right? Matt, yeah, he's probably going to stay in his area, because of his industry. So the word of mouth is going, and the word of mouth works for social media as well, right? So that works both ways. But again, the word of mouth, the foundation is all built on trust, right? You have to provide value, which is the next topic. I think you have to provide value to your to your clients, and if you demonstrate that value, then that's where that word of mouth is going to come from. And especially with social media, how many times do you go on Yelp to look at review, or going every time you go on Yelp? I mean, how many times do you go on Yelp? How many times do you go on Amazon? To look at the reviews. I mean, Dana just demonstrated a perfect example of how this social media. Well, that's not even social media. That's just the internet. That's just reviews. It can literally make or break a company, and it was even out of her control. So that's one thing. That's that's very important. And that's where you hear that term, your personal brand and things like that. And I try to keep, I can't keep track of it, because people are posting things, they're posting podcasts like almost every single day. But that's another important thing that you have to consider when you're thinking of it from a marketing perspective. So with the business strategy for the value chain, that all comes down to every single thing you do. You have to ask the question of, how is this providing value to my customer? That's the number one question you always ask. If it doesn't provide value, it's got to go. So, and if you've heard of the term lean, if you had, in your supply chain classes, I think, well, y'all probably did that like 2 years ago, right? But in supply chain, you hear this term lean, and the objective of lean is to eliminate waste, wasteful activities. And Jack Welch was one of those that said if it doesn't provide value, it's gone. And that also applied to his employees. If that role does not provide value, it's gone. You know, he earned a nickname Neutron Jack, because I forgot the exact number. I think it was 150,000 employees he laid off, something like that. So they said that if it doesn't provide value, they're gone. You know, so I'm not saying to go that extreme, but the point of that statement was that the processes have to provide value to your customers. Okay. Now, from a marketing perspective, you know, how would you? This is a question. So, how would you assess value to your customer from a marketing perspective?
I would look at where their site ranks on Google. So going back to SEO, that's really important. I would also look at their engagement that they're getting on their social media. Not all engagement is high, you know. There's that good number of engagement that you want for each post, depending on the company. And if it's getting 1 to 2 likes, maybe no comments, that's low. That's not something that we want. So kind of looking at SEO and engagement, I think.
Excellent. Anybody else? All right. So yeah, as you go through this module, look at some of this content. Look at Michael Porter. Michael Porter is one of those authors that and professors that I review a lot. I mean, especially in business, in graduate schools, you'll see that name, Michael Porter, show up often, very often. So please review some of this information. So within a business strategy perspective, this is going to be a good conversation. We got what, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. I don't want people calling me out now, Brittany. Let me see here. Let's see here. Yeah. So this is the last thing we'll talk about. So when we talk about a business strategy, when we're talking about a marketing strategy, you know, how would you equate these 5 steps? So the incubating step, growth, maturity, decline. How would you equate those phases to a marketing plan, to a marketing strategy, I would say? What do you think?
The incubation would be a lot of your planning, like before you even roll out the product, like how you're going to get the word out there, what your product does, and finding your target market. Growth would be like after you roll out the product, making sure people are finding out about it and that word is getting out and spreading. Maturity would be just like keeping the volume of growth that you have, like trying as hard as you can to avoid getting to the decline stage, and just keeping the pressure on, and just making sure you're not having a fall off, and if you are, where to combat that.
Yeah, excellent. Anyone else? Appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, for this one, for these phases, it's very interesting on how would this translate to a marketing perspective. You know, similar to what Noah talked about, you know, you're going to be doing the planning stages on your marketing. So, you know, how are these social media sites going to work? Or how are we going to implement our marketing plan on these social media sites? How many social media sites are we going to post on? How much are these social media sites going to cost us? Most importantly, right? You know, and then once that is rolled out, then you'll have this growth phase where you're going to you know, increase the, like, so in Facebook, you're going to increase the demographics, the reach. You know, you're going to different you know, countries to try to get in different people from different parts of the world, right? You're gonna up your Facebook ads game, if you will. You know, once you hit that maturity, you're going to kind of keep that, you know, you found that sweet spot of reaching people, and you're getting that return, that weekly return on investment, right? For example, so the perfect example is for like those courses, you know, those online recorded courses that people that you'll see like on Facebook and Instagram and things like that, you know. So as you plan for it, you can say, okay, I'm gonna do these advertisements on Facebook. I'm gonna do these advertisements on Instagram. Okay. Now you hit the growth phase and you say, okay, I'm going to pay $500 a week on Instagram. I'm gonna pay $1,000 a week on Facebook. Okay, I'm getting an ROI on these every week. Let's bump it up to 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000. Uh-oh. Okay, let me dial it back down 2,500 a piece. Okay, now I'm getting good ROI. Now I'm continuing to getting good ROI, right? So I'm gonna just kind of hover at this 2,500, you know, for a while. So now I'm maturing, right? So then once I hover at that 2,500 and I start to see I'm losing money again, that's whenever we're gonna hit the decline. And now I need to start creating some new fresh content. And we start all over again. Right? So, you know, that's what we would do from a marketing perspective, from, you know, within the social media space. That's one thing that I've been speaking with people on, like, Justin, why don't you just create some course content? I said, my content is too narrow. Nobody's gonna pay for that, right? I'm not gonna get tens of thousands of people to listen to supply chain training courses. It's not gonna happen, right? You know, so that's one thing. And I do have some peers that are very successful, you know, and they have a lot of followers on social media, and, you know, those classes are very difficult to sell. They're very difficult to sell, right? So if that's one thing you're considering, I would do my research on that, because I have some peers that are very successful, you know, and they have very successful careers, but there's a lot of competition out there on these training courses, and it's essentially like you had to be like one of the first out to really make money, because the market's so saturated, you know. So, and also, like I said, also you have these platforms like Clubhouse, where those people that are kicking out all those courses and making all this money, they're in Clubhouse now, and they're actually giving live feedback, where you can go and ask this person that you idolize, that you bought all their courses. You can ask them a question direct. So now they're going to sell a boatload of more courses. Because not only do you have their classes, but now you see that person is a real person. He's down to earth, right? Because also there was this other guy that was on. He's big on social media. He pumps a bunch of money in social media, and I heard him on Clubhouse, and he was just so absolutely rude to this woman. And I was like, yeah, that guy's dead to me. So it can make or break you. It broke that dude. It broke him. Because I have not seen him back on there since. As a matter of fact, I have not seen his ads. That situation that he had on Clubhouse in front of 1,500 people broke him. It ruined him. Right? He was absolutely out. He was so out of line. Like he was so out of line. If that would have happened in a business environment, he would have had to step down as CEO. It was that bad. And like I said, I had not seen any ads. So he's written off. And he was in the room. He was in the room with Grant Cardone. He was in the room with Ty Lopez. If you've heard of those guys, they are not associated with this guy anymore. You know. So again, that's the power of social media. It can make or break you. And again, with that application, it's live. There's no re-record. There's no clips. There's no clipping out something when I drop a F-bomb or something. No, there's no clipping it out. It's real. That's why I love it. So, and again, yeah, it's gonna be an amazing. I'm telling you, it's the future. It's gonna be an amazing opportunity for organizations. It's gonna be an amazing opportunity for you all. You know, once you find your niche, once you find something that you're good in, and you like get room, you can like start a room. So like Rachel could start a room on like crafts, like marketing. But you said you want to get more into marketing, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So like if Rachel wanted to start doing marketing, start to try to like play. For example, there's a lot of rooms out there for entrepreneurs. So Rachel could go on the Clubhouse and she could go up on the stage and she could pitch her idea to these millionaires, investors, and they would give her feedback, real-time feedback. Now they rip some people apart, but I want to be ripped apart before I go up to somebody really asking for money. I want somebody to rip me apart so I can go back to the drawing board. So when I really do want to ask for money, I have my ducks in a row, right? So yeah, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of opportunities for you all. It's a great time. All right, so got 1 minute. So please do that. Please do the celebration of scholarship. Again, celebration is so sites.psu.edu /WB scholarship. COS intended to participate form. Please fill it out so we can get this thing going. Also, so once again, there's an award for social justice, environmental justice. There's an award for corporate social responsibility. There, you can also do one on marketing. Now, again, the celebration of scholarship, it needs to be meaningful to you. Do not do this just for the sake of doing an assignment, because these things are going to be posted. Your presentations are going to be posted on YouTube as unlisted, because you don't have you'll say that I don't want this posted. It'll be on unlisted, right? But if these presentations are good, I want to send them out to people in my network on LinkedIn. Like I said, you tell me what industry you want to work in. I'll send your link out. All right. So this is an amazing opportunity. All right. Any questions? We're out of time.
I have one question about the Apple proposal. Are we supposed to pick multiple companies from that list or just one?
Just one. Just one.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? All right. Y'all have a good week. Please sign up for the celebration of scholarship. Thank you.